Monica Harris adjusted the mirror, her calloused fingers brushing the gold cross hanging from it. Rain pelted the windshield in heavy sheets, blurring the cracked pavement of Route 9 into streaks of gray and silver. She clicked the wipers faster and squinted. Fairview streets always looked sad when it rained, like they remembered they used to be something more. The school bus moaned to a halt at the corner of Oak and Maple. Monica pressed the lever to open the door. The hiss was followed by a shuffle, muddy sneakers, small feet. Lucas Myers stepped on board. His hoodie was soaked through, clinging to a frame far too thin for a 12-year-old boy. A rip in his jacket sleeve revealed a bruise blossoming on his forearm. One of the lenses in his glasses was cracked. His eye underneath swollen. Monica's throat tightened. "Morning, Lucas," she said gently, her voice rising above the bus' usual mechanical growl. Lucas gave a barely there nod and clutched his backpack tighter. From the back, the usual chorus began. "Hey, Four Eyes! Yo, Myers, your mama dress you in the dark?" A boy with a cap too big for his head threw a crumpled wrapper forward. It bounced off Lucas's shoulder. Monica slammed the brake. Hard. The entire bus lurched. "Sit down," she snapped, standing slowly from her seat. The bus fell into stunned silence. She walked the aisle, not fast, not angry, controlled, powerful. "This ends now," she said, loud enough for every ear to hear. "This is a school bus, not your personal war zone." She reached Lucas, who stood frozen, eyes wide behind his bent frames. She gently guided him to the front seat, right behind her. "You sit here from now on, baby," she said, meeting his eyes. "Ain't nobody messing with you while I'm driving." Then, turning back to the rest of the bus, she said it, calm, strong, final. "While I'm behind this wheel, nobody bullies nobody." The words echoed louder than her voice. They hung in the air like judgment. One of the kids, Kayla from row 5, was already filming. 15 seconds of courage, uploaded. By the time Monica dropped off the last student, the video was already on its way to being viral. She didn't know that. She just knew her stomach hurt. That bruise on Lucas's arm, that wasn't just a hallway push, that was fear living under the skin. Later that night, Monica sat at her kitchen table, sipping black coffee and scrolling through Facebook. The comments were starting to pop up. "Who is this woman? She's a damn hero." "Every school bus needs a Monica Harris." She shook her head. "Hero? No, just tired. 16 years, same route, same streets, same silence from the school when she raised concerns. No one ever listened to the bus driver. Until now. The next morning, the rain had stopped, but the air was thick, storm heavy. Monica's fingers were sore from arthritis, but she clicked her seatbelt into place like she did every day. She pulled up to the first stop, then the second, then Oak and Maple. Lucas waited, this time with a fresh Band-Aid across his cheekbone. His jacket was still the same. Monica made a mental note to stop by Goodwill that weekend. As she was about to close the doors, she saw him, a tall man in a dark cashmere coat, leather gloves, and polished shoes. He didn't belong on Route 9. He didn't belong in Fairview. He stepped up into the bus. Monica blinked. "Sir, this is a school." "Good morning," he interrupted, calm but firm. His voice was clean, expensive, the kind that sounded like it never needed to be raised. He turned to Lucas. "Dad?" the boy whispered. The man gave a small smile. "Hey, buddy." The bus was silent. Even the kids in the back, who never shut up, were holding their breath. The man turned to Monica. His eyes weren't cold like she expected. They were searching, grateful, pained. "I'm Daniel Myers," he said. "Lucas is my son." Monica's mouth went dry. She looked at Lucas, who sat very still, like if he moved, the moment would break. I didn't know," she stammered. "I didn't mean to. You stood up for my son," Daniel said, and his voice cracked slightly. "You did what no one else did." He stepped into the aisle and turned to face the bus. "I'm Lucas's father," he announced, "and I want to thank this woman." Monica could feel 40 pairs of eyes on her. The boy in the cap looked like he wanted to disappear. "You don't know what it means to protect a child," Daniel continued, "until someone does it for yours." He paused, then added, "You're the reason I know my son is still safe." And then he did something Monica never expected. He reached into his coat, pulled out a business card, and handed it to her. "This isn't charity," he said quietly. "This is respect. Call me if you ever need anything. Anything." Monica took the card with trembling fingers. Later, when the video from the day before passed 1 million views, people would call it fate, divine timing, a TikTok miracle. But for Monica, it was just one more stop on a route she'd driven her whole life. And for Lucas, it was the first time he felt seen. The buzz began before sunrise. Monica Harris's phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Missed calls, new messages, tag after tag on social media. Her niece from Birmingham texted, "Auntie, you're on the news." What? Still in her housecoat, Monica shuffled into the living room, flipped on the TV. There she was, grainy bus footage, a trembling voice behind the camera. Her voice. "While I'm behind this wheel, nobody bullies nobody." Then, cut to studio. 2 anchors smiling wide. Meet Monica Harris, the Georgia school bus driver who took a stand and captured the nation's heart. She sank into the couch. Lord have mercy. By 9 a.m., her front porch was full. Reporters, a local news van, a tall woman from the district office holding flowers and a clipboard. Monica stood in the doorway, arms crossed. "I didn't sign up to be famous," she muttered, but she stepped out anyway. She didn't do it for attention. She did it because a boy had walked into her bus bleeding, and nobody else gave a damn. And now everybody did. At Fairview Elementary, things changed fast. For the first time, the principal, Mr. Gaines, called a special assembly. Not for test scores or fire drills, but for bullying. Every kid filed into the gymnasium, buzzing with curiosity. Teachers whispered at the edges. Lucas sat quietly near the front, his head low. Mr. Gaines cleared his throat. "We all saw the video," he began. "And I think we owe someone an apology and a thank you." He turned to the audience. "Miss Monica Harris, please." Applause thundered. Monica stepped up to the mic, wearing her uniform, her posture stiff but proud. She looked at the sea of young faces, some curious, some ashamed. A few still trying to look cool even now. "Y'all ever seen somebody get picked on and said nothing?" she asked. Her voice was steady. "Ever laughed to fit in even when you knew it was wrong?" Silence. "Yeah," she nodded. "Me too, when I was your age." A gasp. She smiled gently. See, it ain't about being perfect. It's about doing better when we know better. Then she turned to Lucas, who looked like he might disappear into the floor. You ain't invisible, baby, she said. And you never were. A tear slipped down his cheek. By the time she stepped down, the gym was silent, respectful, changed. The school board didn't waste time. Within days, they announced a partnership with the Myers Foundation, funded by none other than Daniel Myers himself. Cameras were installed in every Fairview bus. Counselors were hired. And a new program, See Me, Speak Up, was launched to train teachers, students, and staff to recognize bullying before it could bloom. At the press conference, Daniel stood beside Monica. My son was suffering in silence, he said, and this woman, she noticed. She acted. Reporters asked him why he hadn't known about Lucas's bullying sooner. His answer was honest and rare. Because I thought money could protect him, he admitted. Turns out, it doesn't shield a child from cruelty. Only people can do that. Good, brave people. He turned to Monica. You changed more than one life that day. She shook her head. No, we did. But that wasn't the end. A week later, Monica received a letter on crisp embossed stationery from the Georgia Department of Education. Congratulations. You are being considered for a district-wide role in student safety and engagement. She nearly dropped it in her grits. Her? A policy role? All she ever wanted was for the bus to be safe. She never imagined the boardroom. But change comes for those who speak up. When she walked into her first meeting with the Department of Education, the room stood. The secretary whispered, That's her. That's Miss Harris. She took her seat. And for the first time in her life, she wasn't just driving the bus. She was steering the whole damn system. And Lucas, he changed too. Kids stopped laughing, started listening. He joined the school orchestra. Monica showed up at the winter recital, front row. He stood on stage, adjusting his glasses, violin shaking in his hands. Then he put down the instrument and stepped to the mic. This isn't part of the program, he said nervously, but I need to say something. The room held its breath. I used to think no one saw me, he said, but one person did. He looked at Monica. She didn't just protect me, she reminded me I matter. The room erupted. Monica wiped her cheek with the back of her hand, whispering, Lord, thank you. And backstage, Daniel leaned in close and said softly, Millions can buy silence, but truth, that takes people like you. She didn't know what to say, so she just squeezed his hand. Back home that night, Monica sat by the window, watching the rain return. She sipped her tea. The route would be the same tomorrow. Same bus, same streets, but not the same silence. Now there was respect. And where once there was fear, there was justice rolling down Route 9. The school year rolled forward, but the air felt different. Every kid on Route 9 knew what that front seat meant now. It wasn't about fear. It was about being seen. Monica Harris still started her mornings at 5:15 a.m., still wrapped her scarf tight before stepping into the cold, still checked her mirrors like a ritual. But now, when she pulled up to Oak and Maple, the door opened to more than just passengers. It opened to respect. Lucas sat where he always did, front row, back straight, eyes alert. But today he wore a tie. It was crooked, but Monica didn't correct it. Some things a boy needs to wear on his own. That evening, the auditorium of Fairview Middle School buzzed with voices. The district-wide Voices of Change youth event was in full swing, an initiative launched in the wake of the Monica Harris moment, as the media had begun calling it. School administrators, parents, and state representatives filled the rows. Lights dimmed. The orchestra took their places. Monica sat toward the back this time. She didn't like being the center of attention. Daniel Myers slid into the seat beside her. "I can't believe we're here," he whispered. Monica smiled without looking at him. "I can." Lucas stepped on stage. He adjusted the mic. His fingers trembled just slightly. "I was going to play violin tonight," he began, voice quiet. "But I asked if I could speak first." A hush fell over the crowd. "My name is Lucas Myers. You might have seen a video of me, crying, hiding. I didn't like that boy very much. He looked like someone who didn't believe in himself." He paused, took a deep breath. But then someone believed in him, and everything changed. He looked straight toward the back row, toward her. She didn't wear a cape. She didn't yell for likes. She just stood up. The room held its breath. "This isn't a speech," Lucas said. "It's a thank you." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small folded paper. "Miss Harris," he said, voice cracking, "this is for you." He opened it, a poem, written in the shaky print of a seventh grader. "You saw me when no one did. You stood so I could stand. You turned a seat into a shield and a ride into a plan. You drove more than just a bus. You drove me back to hope. And now I get to say your name because your words help me cope. Thank you, Miss Harris." Applause exploded, but Monica didn't move. She sat still, hands folded, tears running down her cheeks like rain against a windshield. After the performance, people lined up to shake her hand. The superintendent, the mayor, a local reporter, even a high school senior who whispered, "I used to be Lucas." But it was Daniel who stepped forward last. He didn't have his usual calm business face. He looked full, like a man who had finally exhaled. "I've spent my whole life building things," he said. "Empires, portfolios, buildings taller than this school." He looked around, but none of that ever felt this solid. He took Monica's hand. "My son is whole because of you, and so am I." Then he said something she'd never forget. "Millions don't mean much when you fail to notice who's hurting beside you." Monica didn't reply. She didn't need to, because some truths don't need echo, just witness. She didn't become rich, didn't get a book deal or a talk show, but her words started to matter in rooms that used to ignore her. When the district reviewed its disciplinary procedures, they called her. When the state held a town hall on youth mental health, they asked her to speak. And when the bus routes were redrawn for the next year, they didn't even try to take Route 9 from her. That was hers. Months passed. The weather turned warm, then hot. Summer crawled in with its sticky breath, and the school year wound down like an old cassette. On the last day of class, Monica pulled up to the first stop. Lucas climbed aboard. This time, no bruises. New jacket, tie gone, just a boy, smiling. He didn't sit in the front seat today. He walked to the middle, sat beside the boy who used to taunt him, and they talked about games and finals, and nothing in particular. Monica watched through the mirror. She smiled. Same road, same bus, but not the same ride. Not anymore. Because justice doesn't always shout. Sometimes it rides the morning route in quiet power. And sometimes it looks like a black woman behind a wheel. Who decided that one child mattered? And that was enough to change everything.